Hey YouTube, my name is Chris and I own not one, but two of these Super73 Z1 bicycles. Now I actually got both of them from the same owner, and when I bought them, this black one here, he told me he thinks it has either a bad battery or a bad controller. This one here I've been riding for the past several months, and I have to say I really love this bike. But my biggest complaint has probably been the suspension, and you can upgrade it, but it's pretty hefty to go buy that fork from Super73 themselves, and they're usually out of stock as well. So today I'm gonna be showing you how to upgrade to the air suspension fork from Amazon that's just around $150, and it should improve the ride quality a ton. We're gonna reuse the factory handlebars, and I'm gonna show you how to do that. And this is gonna be the first episode of building this black Super73 Z1 right here. So I'm looking forward to doing a 48 volt upgrade, a new controller as well, and some other cool things I think you're going to love. So subscribe to the channel if you want to see more Z1 content on these bikes. But for now, let's go ahead and unbox the forks that we have, as well as the down stem that you're going to need to adapt your factory handlebars. I'll have links to these down in the description below. And without further ado, let's get right to work. And now that we've got the air suspension unboxed, we're gonna go ahead and take a closer look at it. Now mine actually arrived with some what looked like oil or lubricant kind of spilled inside of the box. You can see here it's kind of stained on the cardboard. That being said, I didn't notice any damage to the fork itself. I figured this is just assembly lube and it was just kind of in the package. So once we cleaned that off, we took a closer look at it. The new fork is definitely lighter than expected for how big it is, you know, considering all the parts and components to it. Putting it up next to the factory fork is clearly longer as well. So we'll kind of have to work around this, but it is adjustable in height, so it'll fit different bikes. And in our scenario, we're going to try to put it in the lowest setting possible to give us a nice level ride of the bicycle. Now the forks do not have a built-in adapter for the handlebars, so that's why we had to buy a stem spacer. The one that I have here, I'll have linked down in the description below. It's a standard BMX/freestyle stem for your handlebars, and it doesn't have any angle to it. It's called a 90-degree stem. Now we're going to remove the factory forks, and this is just a few bolts holding it in. Don't forget to disconnect the harness cables for the throttle and those things, and also remove your old brake caliper from the old fork. And for those of you that wanted to know exactly the weight difference, the factory fork is actually 1 pound lighter than the new suspension fork. So you gain 1 pound of weight, but you do get added suspension from this upgrade. So I don't think you're gonna feel the weight, and I definitely think it's worth it. Now these forks use air and not fluid for their suspension. That's why they're called air suspension. That does make it adjustable. As you see, this little table here does show you what pressure to use for your weight. And you can also increase or decrease the dampening on this side of the strut right here. The only problem that I've noticed is that the air fitting for the shocks does not fit with my air compressor gun. So unfortunately, I wasn't able to add or decrease any air pressure to these forks, but I felt like they were at a good pressure out of the box. Now, putting together the forks, the factory wheel and brakes, those go on fine, but installing the forks into the frame of my bike, I noticed that the bottom fork crown race was not present on these new forks like it was on the Super73. So I quickly modeled them up and 3D printed some that would fit and basically adapt these forks to the Super73 frame and make sure that the headset bearings are compressed. And it would also allow me to use the factory handlebars just at a higher position than they were from factory. Overall, the bike has a noticeable improvement in ride quality, especially the front end of the bike. Now, the taller bar position is also quite nice. It makes the bike kind of feel more like a cruiser. So for those of you guys that are trying to make the bike feel a little bit bigger, this is going to be a great upgrade as well. But something to keep in mind is that this mod only adds suspension to the front of the bike. So being that the rear wheel is still solid, it's gonna be a little uncomfortable when you're putting your weight back there. So unfortunately, riding on some of the bigger bumps, you're still gonna feel those come through your spine as it comes through that rear wheel that doesn't have any suspension on it. But there's really nothing that you can do about this because of the way that the frame is designed. Something to keep in mind is that since these forks are made for a wide variety of bicycles, you could always keep your factory forks off to the side, and then when you go to sell the bike and upgrade to another bike in the future, you can take these forks and put them on your newer bike. So if you're gonna go ahead and check out this upgrade, go ahead and look down in the links below. I hope that you guys enjoyed watching the video, and if you want to see more content like this, be sure to subscribe. We'll see you next time.